Hi, it's Wendy. I'm going to record a class for my lovely Horsham Fitness people as I'm away next week. So this class is going to be for our Friday lunchtime, following on from last week with a focus on upper body and core. So you will need, if you can have a small ball, a trigger point ball or a tennis ball is fine, a cushion for your head. And if you have a soft Pilates ball, that would be great. If you don't have one of these, you could use an additional cushion. And then finally, if you just have a chair or a stool or even just a sofa that you can use, we're going to use that just to stretch out the back at some point. So we're going to start off in standing, just in a nice parallel stance, feet about hip distance, toes nice and relaxed. We're just going to start off by circling the shoulders. We're going to do a few exercises in standing to begin with. We're going to look at just mobilizing through the shoulder girdle and the thoracic spine and also the wrists. Pop our hands onto the shoulders now and circle the elbows. And then we're also going to look at sort of activating some of those muscles around the shoulders and also looking to stretch out areas that tend to get quite tight. So circling the elbows now, reaching them forward, and then up and back. And then you can allow the spine to start to move a little bit with this. So as the elbows come forward, just come into a gentle flexion. And as they come up and back, you can open up across the front of the chest, getting a little bit of extension there. And breathing out, come forward, and then in to reach up and back. We'll do about 3 more here. Two, and last one here, and then just stand up tall and bring the arms back down. So from here we're going to take the palms to face the front, sort of reach through the fingers, making the arms nice and active and dynamic, and start to raise the arms up and down. So just looking to start to activate some of those muscles around the back of the scapula. Reaching through the arms the whole time. Just going to go for 6 and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then let's take the arms back up, take the hands behind the head. Okay, from here we're going to take it into a wing chest stretch. So elbows come to the front and then open wide. As you open wide, just make sure you're not arching into that low back area. Good. And again, breathing it out to open wide and then in to bring the elbows to the front. So mobilizing through the scapula, stretching out into the front of the shoulders as well, an area that often gets very tight and restricted. If you are a bit tight, you can always take the hands a little bit further out so the ears are, rather the fingers are by the ears. We'll go for 6 and 5, for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let's take the hands back down, give the shoulders a circle. So we're going to bend the elbows to 90 and then have the palms facing up. Make sure that the wrists are also neutral and have the elbows in contact with the wrists, probably somewhere slightly in front of the shoulders, so not too far back, nice and relaxed. The elbows are going to stay in contact with the wrist. Going to keep them at 90, so the forearms parallel with the floor, wrist stays nice and neutral, the palm is up. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, we're going to open up, starting to work into those rotator muscles, and then come back on the in-breath. Nice and slow and controlled, almost pause for a moment, and then release off on the in-breath. So just make sure that the elbows stay at 90 and that the forearms stay parallel. Quite often, people tend to bend the elbows a little bit too far up. So just have a little check of your alignment and your positioning. And we'll go for 4 more like this, and then we're going to add on to it. 3, for 2. Now hold this last one here, and then from here, reach the hands, reach the fingers down and out, and then you're going to draw the elbows back in towards the ribs, and then come back to the center. So we're opening up, And then you're reaching down and out. Draw the elbows back. It's almost like you're trying to get the elbows slightly in front of the hands, and then come back to the center. You probably won't get the elbows in front of the hands, but just make sure that you're activating the correct muscles. Nice and slow and controlled. Just breathe as you wish. Just make sure you're not holding your breath. Reaching out, elbows back in, and back to the center. We'll do 2 more here. Draw those elbows back in, and then take the arms back. And then last one, reaching down and out. Draw back in with the elbows, and then come back to the front. Relax the arms down again. Just circle the shoulders a few times. So again, let's take the palms to face the front, reach through the arms, and take the hands back behind the head. So we're going to do our alternating snow angel. So take the arm out to the side, rotate the palm to face behind you, back of the hand comes to the small of the back, and then take it back. And then same with the other side. The whole time staying open across the front of the chest. We're just sort of really mobilizing into that shoulder joint. Good. So you take it out, rotating it round, back of the hand comes to the small of the back. Good. So we're going to do 4 more after this one. So let's go for 4 and 3, for 2, last one here, and let's take the arms wide. So we're going to look at just mobilizing into that thoracic spine, also really important for the functioning of the shoulder joint and up into the neck. So let's bring the arms wide, open across the front of the chest, breathing in. As you breathe out, take the hands forward, draw the abdominals in and stretch across the shoulders. Breathing in to open wide and out to stretch forward. So mobilizing that thoracic spine, some extension, and then into some flexion. And a nice stretch across the shoulders. Inhale and exhale. Now we can add in some arm movement. You can circle the arms back and then forward. A little bit more stretch into the shoulders, in one way and out the other. We'll go for 4 more and 3, for 2, and last one here. And let's just stand up and keep the arms to the front. Soften the knees a little bit, and let's get some rotation here. So breathing in, come to the side. Think about lifting and rotating from the ribs, and then out to come back to the center. And then round to the other side. The head follows the hand. Try and keep the hips facing forward. So we're just rotating through that thoracic spine. In to come to the side, follow the fingers, and then out to come back. Go for about 6 more. Knees are slightly soft, trying to keep those hips facing forward. And then for 4 and 3, for 2, last one here, and relax the arms down. Again, let's just circle the shoulders a few times, and just a little bit more movement for the thoracic spine. We're going to take in some lateral flexion, so let's take the hands behind the head. Just make sure you've got a little bit of length at the back of the neck. You can gently press the head into the hands, the back of the head into the hands, and keep the elbows wide, but just make sure you're not arching into the lumbar spine. And let's breathe in to come over to the side, elbow reaches up, and breathe out to come back up again. So inhale to flex over, and then exhale to come back up. Keep the elbows wide, getting a nice stretch all the way up the side there, and opening up into those facet joints at the side of the spine. So inhale and exhale. We're going to add on an extra little stretch this time. So let's take it over to the side, hold it here. As you breathe out, reach that top hand up, bottom hand down. Take the hands back behind the head and come back up. In to go over, out to reach up. In to take the hands back, and then out to come back up. One more each way. In, Good, reaching that top hand up, bottom hand down, hands back behind the head, and come back up. Last one here, breathing in and out, and then in and back out, and take the arms back down. So we're going to do just a bit of a stretch into the wrist. So take one arm nice and straight, and then make a loose fist. Keep the arm straight, use the other hand to then come and just actively stretch that wrist into flexion. So wrist mobility really important. It can often become a bit stiff and tight. If they do, they will tend to sort of refer up. It will affect issues into the elbow and then up into the shoulder. So just mobilizing through the wrist joint here, keeping the arm straight. Just remembering to breathe as you do this. We'll go for 4 and 3, 2 and 1. And let's do the same with the other arm. So arm nice and straight to make a loose fist. And then take your other hand, use that just to actively stretch this wrist into flexion, keeping the arm straight. Sometimes you might find one side might be a little bit tighter than the other. Anything going on in the shoulders tends to refer down and affect elbows and down into the wrists, and vice versa. Good, and let's go for 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Right, if you've got a chair or a stool, or if you've got a sofa nearby that you can use, if you can go and kneel beside it, we're just going to stretch into the thoracic spine and the shoulders a little bit more. So come and kneel by it, have the forearm rather, and the palms resting down. You're going to come and just sit back. So just think about the spine first. We want to think about keeping the spine nice and long. Make sure you're not sort of sticking the bottom up and arching into the lower back. Nice long spine. Think about drawing the abdominal muscles in. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, you're going to sit back towards the heels. And then release off a little bit on the in-breath. Come back up. As you exhale, keep that drawing in of the abdominal muscles as you sit back towards the heels. And then back on the in-breath. We're just going to do a few of these. Good. Back on the in-breath, release off. As you exhale, sitting back towards the heels and release off. Let's just go for 3 and 2. And last one here. And come back up. And then just one more here. Come a little bit closer so that you can rest your elbows on the edge. The palms facing back towards you. Same again. Think about keeping the spine nice and long. Drawing the abdominal muscles in. And we're going to do exactly the same. Taking a breath in. As you exhale, sitting back towards the heels. And then come up on the in-breath. Out, just sit back and stretch. And in to release off. So keep that drawing up of those abdominal muscles. Think about keeping the spine long and nice and neutral. And we're just going to go for 3 more here. 3 and 2. Last one here. And then carefully come up from there. And then if you've got a stool over, you can get that out of the way. Right, so we're going to come down into our quadruped position now, into our 4-point kneeling. I'm going to stretch into the wrist a little bit more, this time stretching it in extension. So come into your quadruped position, take your right hand, lift it up, rotate it around in a clockwise direction so that the fingers come back towards the knee. Carefully place the hand down, and then just very slowly start to rock the weight forwards and backwards. If you haven't done this before, sometimes can feel quite intense, but really effective in mobilizing through the wrist and then helping up into the elbow and then into anything going on up into the shoulders. So make sure you breathe, move slowly. You might find that once you've done a few, you might be able to get that a little bit further, but just move within your own comfort range. Let's go for 4 and 3, 2 and 1. Come back to the center. Just carefully release off. give it a bit of a shake, pop it down. Let's do the same with the other side. So left hand lifted up, take it around in the anti-clockwise direction, carefully place it down, and then just very carefully start off really slowly, start off with a really small movement. Again, one side might be a bit tighter than the other. Remember to keep breathing. Again, you might find, and only if it feels okay, you might find that once you've done a few, you can maybe get a little bit more range of motion, just a bit more of a stretch. And again, we're going to go for about 4 more. So for 4, and 3, 2, and 1. Come back to the center, carefully release off. Give it a shake if you need to, and then just come back into that quadruped position. So making sure that the hands are underneath the shoulders, knees under the hips. Just make sure that the head and the neck are in nice alignment. So imagine you've got a foam roller going up the back. You want to think about bringing the back of the head back in touch with the roller. I'd like you to press the hands into the mat and push up into the shoulder joint. So the shoulder joint is nice and stacked. And then everything else stays still as you just drop the chest down and then push up. So the arms stay straight, you're just dropping down and pushing up, mobilizing into that scapular joint, doing the scapular press. Good. And let's go for 5 and 4, 3, 2, last one here. Let's just sit back for a moment, stretch out, have a breather here, and stretch. And then when you're ready, come back up into our quadruped position. So we're going to have a few different options for this next one. I'm going to start off with the easiest, and then we've got 3 different levels, and just work at the level that feels right for you today. The same starting position. Let's have the fingers spread, middle finger pointing forward. Let's press into the mat so you're pushing up into that shoulder joint. So the shoulder joint is nicely stacked. That crease in the inside of the elbow, just bring it slightly towards the front. It doesn't have to be all the way around, but just slightly towards the front, drawing the abdominal muscles in. And we're going to take it into our tricep press up, just on our knees. So try and keep the hips above the knees. We're going to lower down, the elbows come back towards the thighs, and then push back up. So we're lowering down and then pushing back up. I would breathe in to lower, then as you exhale, push back up. We'll do 2 more here. And then anytime that you feel you need to, come back, have a little bit of a rest, take the weight off of the wrists. You can alternate as well, so you can come up, you can do your tricep press, come up, and then just sit back and stretch. And you can alternate one to the other, just nice and slow and controlled. Always think about your positioning and your alignment. Take your time, don't rush it. So next option is curl the toes underneath, and we're going to alternate between the tricep press and our pike position. So same again, start making sure that you're pushing up into the shoulder joint. And then when you're ready, take it down, elbows come back towards knees. Let's push up and then lift the hips up and back. And then carefully come back down, bring the knees down, still staying stacked up into the shoulder joint. Elbows come back, push up, and then lifting up into that pike position and come back down. Again, anytime that you feel you need to, you can sit back onto the heels, stretch out, and have a few breaths. And then last option is coming up into our plank position. So into your plank position. So just making sure you've got a good position. Again, making sure that the shoulder joints are nicely stacked, drawing the abdominal muscles up, stretching through the heels. And then from here, you can take it into a push-up, pushing up, and then lifting the hips up and back. And you can just really nice, slow, controlled, go from one to the other, lifting the hips up and back. But take your time, don't rush it. The elbows coming back, pushing up, and then lifting it up. And go for 2 more. Lifting the hips up and back. And last one. Lifting the hips up and back. And then carefully bring the knees down. Relax the feet. Sit back and stretch out. So first of all, think about drawing the armpits down towards the mat. Feel a nice stretch there. Relax the head and breathe into it. Nice big breaths. And then take the palms to face up. You're going to walk the hands round towards the left side. Sitting back into it, relaxing the head. And imagine you're bringing that right shoulder down towards the mat. You feel the stretch all around the shoulder into that lat muscle. Again, breathe into it. Have a couple of nice big breaths. We're going to keep the palms up, walk the hands through the center, round towards the right side, relaxing the head, taking that left shoulder down towards the mat, feeling a lovely stretch there. And again, breathing into it. Nice big breaths. Good. And then bring the hands back in towards the center and back in towards you. Right. Something a little bit more relaxing now. So if you've got a head cushion, come and lie on your side. You can have your head at the front of the cushion. Knees bent up, fairly close, arms in front. So just going to mobilise into the thoracic spine. So take a breath in as you reach that top hand forward. You can't reach any further. Bring the arm up and over, head follows. Just opening up across the front of the chest as far as is comfortable. Try and keep the knees together. Take a breath in here. And then as you exhale, bend the elbow and take the hand back across the front. And then breathing in to reach forward, out to reach up and over, head follows. Opening up across the front of the chest, pausing here, breathing into it. And then taking that hand back across the front. We're going to do two more here. In to reach forward, and then out to reach up and over. You might find you can get a little bit further now, breathing into it. And then as you exhale, take the hand back across the front. You do one more, breathing in to reach forward, and then out to reach up and over. Pause here, breathe into it. And then as you exhale, take that hand back across the chest to the front. And then we're going to do the same at the other side. So head resting at the front of your cushion. Knees bent up, nice and comfortable, arms to the front. Same again, breathing in to reach forward and then out to reach up and over. Try and keep those knees together. If you struggle to keep the knees together, you can pop a cushion or your Pilates ball in the middle. And then pause here, breathe into it. And then bend the elbow and take the hand back across the front as you exhale. And then breathing in to reach forward, out to reach up and over. Taking a breath in here. And then breathing out to come back across the front to the beginning. And then one last one here. Breathing in to reach forward and out to reach up and over. Hold it here, breathe into it. And then as you exhale, bend that elbow and take it back across the front to the start. Brilliant. Right, so now we're going to come to lie on our backs. So if you have a soft Pilates ball, you can grab that. If you don't, you could grab a cushion to pop between your knees. And it can be quite handy sometimes to have a cushion under your head. You don't have to. If you're comfortable with your head on the mat, that's fine. Sometimes when doing abdominal work, it's quite nice to have the head just raised slightly. So let's pop the cushion or your ball between your knees. Come to lie in your semi-supine position. So let's just take a moment to think about our positioning. We want our feet to be parallel, about hip distance. Back of the pelvis relaxing onto the mat. Back of the ribs and the shoulders. And then the head and the neck nice and relaxed. And we'll bring our attention to our breathing for a moment. So pop your hands over the tummy, have the thumbs on the lower ribs, And then just nice, slow, steady breathing in and out. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And we'll focus on our in-breath first of all. So as you're breathing in through the nose, we want to feel that rib cage open up. And then it will come back into the center as you breathe all of the air out. So as you breathe in, we want to feel like it's the lower part of the ribs. So from the sides and the back of the ribs, it's opening up as you breathe in, and then coming back in on the out breath. So breathing in to open up all around the sides and the back of the ribs. And as you breathe out, it comes back in. And then we'll bring our attention to our out breath, so breathing out through the mouth. As you breathe out through the mouth, let's just slowly start to think about drawing the abdominal muscles in. So not as tight as you possibly can, just start off slowly. Imagine you've got a big belt that's coming all the way from the pelvis up to the lower part of the ribs. And each time you breathe out, that belt is just tightening down a notch or two. And then it releases off with the in-breath and the muscles relax. And then the next time you breathe out, it just tightens down maybe just an extra notch. And then again, it releases off with the in-breath, allowing those muscles to relax. So each time you breathe out, it just tightens down that fraction more, just drawing those muscles in and down to the center that little bit more. And then with that, you can add in a little squeeze of your ball or your cushion. So letting everything relax as you breathe in, breathing into the ribs. As you exhale, drawing those abdominal muscles in and just gently squeezing, helping to keep that connection, and then releasing off with the in-breath. Take the arms wide with the palms facing up to take a breath in. And then as you breathe out, engage and gently squeeze, bring the palms up above you, and then release off to breathe in and open wide. Breathing out to engage, hands come up, and breathing in to open wide. Each time you breathe out, just drawing those muscles in that little bit more, and then releasing off with the in-breath. We're just going to go for 3, releasing off, and 2, and then the last one here, as you exhale, engaging, gently squeezing, take a breath in and relax. And from here, let's take the hands down behind the head. So let's bring the chin down slightly, get a little bit of length at the back of the neck. You want to be able to maybe fit like a little trigger point ball, just have a little bit of space between the chin and the collarbone. Elbows in your peripheral vision. We're going to take a breath in to prepare. As you exhale, as you've been doing, engaging those abdominal muscles, gently squeezing and curling up. Back of the head, just resting into the hands, coming back on the in-breath. As you exhale, engaging and squeezing, curling up, and then coming back down on the in-breath. Keep the elbows in your peripheral vision. Don't be tempted to sort of take them forward and pull the head up. The head is just gently relaxing into the hands. We're going to do a few more like this, and then we're going to add on to it. Just really starting to activate those abdominal muscles. Engaging and squeezing, then curling up, relaxing down on the in-breath. Again, as you exhale, first engage and squeeze, and then curl up. Okay, we're going to add on to it. So start the same way. As you exhale, engaging, squeezing, curling up, hold it here. With the in-breath, reach one hand to the thigh and then the other. Next time you breathe out, can you come up just a little bit more? Hold it here as you take one hand behind the head and the other. Then come back down. Relax and take a breath in. As you exhale, engaging and squeezing and curling up. Breathing in to reach to the thighs. Next out breath, drawing those abdominal muscles in that little bit more, even if you just come up a fraction more, but keep that height as you take the hands back behind the head. Relax back down and then take a breath in. We'll do a few more as you exhale, curling up. Reaching to the thighs on the in-breath. Next out breath, can you just draw those abdominal muscles in and come up a fraction more? Keep the height. The hands come back behind the head. Curling back down. Relax and take a breath in. Last one, as you exhale, engaging and squeezing, curling up. Reaching to the thighs. Next out breath, Engage, just come up a little bit more weight. Keep that height, keep that drawing in of those abdominal muscles as the hands come back behind the head, and then relax back down. Brilliant, well done. So rest the head down, arms down by your side, head's going to stay relaxing down for the next bit. And bring our attention to our legs. So I'd like you to do a couple of little pelvic tilts, just taking the low back down into the mat, and then lifting it slightly as the tailbone comes down. Just do a few more. And then we're going to settle into that midway position, that sort of neutral spine. So you should have a very slight lift of the low back, lumbar spine, and hip bone should be pointing directly up towards the ceiling. So we want to keep the spine in neutral. So we're going to start the same way. You're going to take a breath in. As you exhale, engage and squeeze. And this time, just going to bring the legs up. You're going to hold them here for an in-breath. And then as you exhale, you're going to engage, gently squeeze and slowly lower. Okay, keeping the spine really still. At the bottom, relax and take a breath in. As you exhale, engaging and squeezing, floating the legs. Breath in at the top. As you exhale, engaging and squeezing, nice and slowly lower. Keep it controlled. Keep that activation of the abdominal muscles. At the bottom, relax and take a breath in. A couple more. As you exhale, engaging and squeezing and floating the legs. Now, if you're starting to feel any kind of strain or lifting of the low back, just drop the feet a little bit. Okay, that will help just keep the low back a bit relaxed and keep the abdominal muscles activated. Last one here. Relax and take a breath in. As you exhale, engage and squeeze. Float the legs. Breath in here, and then as you exhale again, engaging, slowly lowering, keep it controlled, low back, nice and still. Relax and take a breath in. Right, we're going to put all of those together. So take the hands back behind the head. Just get that little bit of length at the back of the neck. Have your elbows in your peripheral vision. They're going to stay there. So starting the same way, breathing in to prepare. As you exhale, engaging, drawing those abdominal muscles in, gently squeezing, everything comes up, the head and the legs. The head comes back down on the in-breath, and then as you exhale, engage and squeeze, slowly lower the legs. Relax and take a breath in. As you exhale, engaging and squeezing, everything comes up. And then with the in-breath, head relaxing into the hands, comes back down. As you exhale, engaging and slowly lowering those legs. And at the bottom, relax and take a breath in. As you exhale, engaging, everything comes up. Good, head comes back down on the in-breath. And then as you exhale, slowly lower the legs. Remember, you can drop the feet if you need to. We're going to do two more. Breathing in. As you exhale, engaging, bringing everything up. Good, head comes back down on the in-breath. And then slowly lower the legs on the out-breath. Keep that lumbar spine nice and still. Relax and take a breath in. Last one here, as you exhale, engaging, everything comes up. Slowly lower the head on the in-breath. And then with the out-breath, engage, drawing those abdominal muscles and gently squeezing. Slowly lower the legs. And then relax and take a breath in. Brilliant, well done. Okay, pop the ball or the cushion away. Bring the legs together, bring the arms a little bit wider, and let's just take a breath in as you roll the knees to one side and roll the head to the opposite side, and then come back to the center on the out breath. Next in breath, take the knees to one side and roll the head to the other side. And then coming back on the out breath. And breathing in, bring the knees to the side, roll the head to the opposite side. Breathing out, come back to the center. And then in to roll the knees to the side and the head to the other side. And out to come back. And hold this last one. So breathing in, bring the knees to the side, roll the head to the other side, hold it here. Just have an extra couple of breaths here. Think about reaching that top knee away. Getting a nice stretch all into that low back, around the hip and to the side. Breathing into it. And then come back to the center. And then take the knees over to the other side. Roll the head to the opposite side. And again, hold it here. An extra couple of breaths, think about reaching that top knee away. Good, and then take it back to the center. Right, so we need our small trigger point balls now. So if you've got your small ball, trigger point ball, tennis ball is fine. If you've got a spiky ball, you can use that as well. So we're going to release off into some of these shoulder muscles. So we'll start on the right side, take the ball, and I'm going to place the ball just on the muscle, kind of at the top of the shoulder blade. It comes down from the neck, round across the top of the shoulder blade, into that area there. So if you were to be weighing a backpack, the sort of area where the straps would be, if you had the shoulder straps on. And then find a spot. If it doesn't feel comfortable, just move the ball slightly. Okay, so you find a spot that feels okay. And you're going to take that right arm up towards ceiling. Breathe in to reach up. And as you breathe out, keeping the arm straight to take it down. So it's almost like that muscle's now relaxing over the ball. So we're going to do a few of those, breathing in to reach up and out to come down. Now, if that feels okay, when you come down, you can take a breath in and then you can take the arm out to the side and back up. So whatever you're doing, we want to be moving nice and slowly and just making sure that we're breathing the whole time. Okay, so if anything feels quite painful, just avoid that area and try moving to another spot. Sometimes when you first come onto it, it might feel sort of slightly uncomfortable, but that should soon ease off once you've been breathing into it and just stretching into the area. So if it feels enough just to relax onto it and breathe, that's fine. You can take the arm up and down. You can add in taking the arm out to the side. I'm just going to do a couple more here. Good. Last one here. Brilliant. And then let's remove that ball from there. And we're going to come and lie on our sides now. So we're going to release up into the lat muscle. This can often be a little bit uncomfortable. So see how you go. But we're sort of looking to work into this area here. So you've got the shoulder blade, you're coming just underneath it, just in the side here, into that sort of area of the lat muscle where we've got the trigger point. So lie on your side, come onto it. Now again, if you come onto it and it really doesn't feel nice, just try popping it into a different position. Okay, and first of all, just relax and breathe onto it. So this can often be quite a more stronger sensation. So just relax and breathe into it. Now, if that's enough, that's fine. Just lie here and relax and breathe. If it feels okay, let's see if we can just move up and down the muscle fiber. So it's a small movement, just coming down and then up slightly. It's not a terribly big movement, but we're just working into those muscle fibers, just coming up and down along the length of the muscle fibers. So make sure that you keep breathing with this. So yeah, it can often be, a little bit uncomfortable, this one. But if it's really uncomfortable, if it's painful, please just stop, try and find another spot. Or if it's really uncomfortable, maybe just don't do it. Okay, so let's just come back to that start position. We're now going to come across the muscle fibers, okay? So we're going to come forward slightly and then backwards. So we're coming across those muscle fibers. So when you're using these trigger point balls to release off, as I say, when you find the spot, it is often a little bit uncomfortable. But if there is an area that's really quite painful, it's really important to be mindful of your own body, because that might just mean that there's an area of inflammation. Maybe it's actually just best left alone. So be mindful of your own body. See how it feels. If something doesn't feel right, don't do it. Keep breathing here, coming across these muscle fibers. Again, quite a small movement, just coming forwards and backwards. Right, final thing here. If it's all feeling just about okay, have the top hand resting to support you. You're going to take that bottom hand out, palm facing up, and just lift the arm off the floor slightly and slowly take it down this way in front of you. and then back up. Keep breathing. Good. And just see if we can do another couple of these, again, nice and slow and controlled. Just releasing off into that lat muscle. Good. And then carefully relax that arm back down, remove the ball, and then just come and lie on your back again for a moment. And just relax, have a few breaths, and just see how it feels. Do you notice a difference between that side that you've just worked on and the other side? Doesn't matter if you don't, but sometimes it's nice just to sort of take a moment to notice these things. And then when you're ready, we're going to do the same on the other side. So grab your ball, you're going to pop it onto the left side of the shoulder there. So again, just above the scapula, into that muscle there, and sort of area where if you had a backpack, where the straps would be. And we'll do the same at this side. Again, it doesn't feel comfortable, just try shifting it to a different spot. And then once you're there, take the arm up, breathing in to reach up and out to come down. Good. Sometimes you'll find one side might feel a little bit tighter, maybe just a little bit more tender than the other. Reaching it up and then bringing that shoulder down. So if that feels okay, you can try taking the arm out to the side and then coming back up. So whatever you're doing, just moving slowly, nice, slow, steady breathing. Make sure you're not holding your breath at any point. Anything that doesn't feel right or feels uncomfortable, try shifting to another spot and just avoid that area. Good. So you can stick with the reaching up and down, you can stick with coming to the side, you can alternate between them. Do whatever feels good for you. A couple more breaths here. Good. And then let's take the ball and we're going to work into the left lat muscle. So again, we're coming just below, so you've got the shoulder blade, we're coming just below it into this sort of area here. So come and lie on your side. Just bring yourself down over the ball. You can rest your head into your hands. And then just take a moment to just settle onto it, see how it feels, and have a few breaths. But if it feels a little bit tender when you first come onto it, once you've had a few breaths, it should just ease off a little bit, okay? If it doesn't, maybe just try moving it slightly. And then same again here. So if that's enough, you can just rest on it and you can breathe. That's absolutely fine just to do that. If you can, try just moving up and down slightly. It's coming along the length of the muscle fibers. And it's quite a small movement. Breathing, definitely my tighter and slightly more tender side. Good. Do a couple more here. Just a small movement coming along the length of the muscle fibers. And then settle back somewhere in the middle. And then see if you can just do a movement coming forwards and backwards, coming across the muscle fibers now. Again, moving slowly. And breathing the whole time. Good. Trying to stay as relaxed as possible. A couple more here. And then we just got that one final movement to do. Okay, so top hand is down supporting. You're going to reach that bottom arm out. Just lift it slightly and then slowly take it down. And then back up again, moving slowly, breathing into it, use the breath. I'm just going to see if we can do 3 more of these. Last 2 if you can. Brilliant. And then last one here. Good. And then bring that hand back, release off the ball and just come and lie on your back for a moment, okay? Again, just see how it feels. Does it feel different now that you've done both sides? And we're just going to do a few pelvic curls just to sort of stretch out and mobilise through the spine. So in our semi-supine position, feet parallel, let's start off with a few pelvic tilts. So taking a breath in as you exhale, drawing the abdominal muscles in, tilting the pelvis, low back comes down, and then bringing it back on the in-breath. A couple of pelvic tilts to start off with. And then when you're ready, let's start to curl all of the way up. So as you exhale, drawing the abdominal muscles in, that low back comes down, the tailbone lifts up. Okay, we're going to peel the rest of the spine up off of the mat, trying to roll up one section at a time. Take a breath in at the top, and as you exhale, first think about softening down through the ribs, then the mid-back, low back, back of the pelvis, relax and take a breath in. A couple more as you exhale, rolling up through the spine. Try to peel the spine up one section at a time. This time at the top, as you breathe in, either reach to the ceiling or if you have space, reach overhead, really reach. Keep that reach as you breathe out and roll back down through the spine one section at a time. So just really opening up through those joint spaces, mobilizing through the spine, bring the arms back down. We're going to do two more as you exhale. Tailbone comes up, peeling the rest of the spine up off of the mat. Good, breathing in to reach. Keep that reach as you breathe out and soften down first through the ribs and the mid-back, low back, back of the pelvis. Breathing in to take the arms back down. Last one, as you exhale, trying to roll out one section at a time. Weight nice and even on the feet. Breathing in to reach. Keep that reach, and then as you exhale, first soften through the ribs, and the mid-back, then the low back, back of the pelvis, and then bring the arms back down again. Good.